Major Mann, newly resigned from the Defense Intelligence Agency, joins me on Mehdi Unfiltered. Thank you so much for coming on the show. You mentioned in your resignation letter, which you submitted at the start of November, I believe, less than a month after the Israeli assault on Gaza began, that you had always planned to leave the army, but to leave in this abrupt way, much earlier than planned, without even another job lined up. How much did events in Gaza and the US role in Gaza play into that?
Thank you for having me. So I began my resignation in November. I did not share the reasons until months later in April. But the war in Gaza and our role in it and my contribution to that was the straw that broke the camel's back, and the reason I ultimately understood I could not do this work anymore. By November, the course of the war was already, I think, quite clear to me and to anybody who follows this topic in the national security community. And I knew that as long as I stayed, I'd be contributing to this campaign that had already demonstrated basically was going to be indiscriminately killing civilians at an industrial scale. It was going to proceed without the Israeli military really having a realistic or achievable plan, theory of victory or way to end the war. It was going to provoke a lot of dangerous reactions from adversaries around the region that was going to endanger, obviously Israel and also U.S. forces in the region. And it was clear that U.S. support was going to be unwavering in spite of all that. And I kind of lost hope that there was going to be any change of course. And so I knew each day that I stayed, I was going to be contributing to that.
So you mentioned a moment ago your own role, my contribution. You don't run the Defense Intelligence Agency. You were a kind of middle management person, to be fair to your role, but you felt you were contributing to the killings in Gaza. I want to ask, what is the role of the US Defense Department, intelligence community in terms of helping, assisting, facilitating Israel's war on Gaza? How involved, how complicit are we, especially at an intelligence level?
I think holistically, defense, military support, intel support, certainly this far into the war, this is not a war that Israel could be prosecuting this way without our sort of maximalist levels of support. I think their dependence on our munitions transfers is pretty well publicized and understood. They would have run out of ammo a long time ago, if not for us. And in terms of the other support, I would say the limitations of their own capabilities, I think, were laid pretty clear on October 7th. And it's also well publicized that we have a very close intelligence relationship with Israel. So I think you can imagine the potential importance of that relationship, especially after October 7th, and especially after this conflict is now spread regionally to places that I would presume are harder for any one country to understand.